Hi, witches! So I know it's been a second since we have just had a little sit down, a chat, a little talky video, and that is what I wanted to do today. So for today, I wanted to kind of update you guys on my spiritual journey and some things that have been happening in the past few weeks, which is why I've been a little bit quiet. There's been just so much happening in my life spiritually and just like in general. So let me fill you in. Let's get to the debrief, shall we? So actually all of this started right around actually on Imbolc. So February 1st, woke up and I felt awful. I had the stomach flu. I had a fever of like 103 for 3 days. 2 days, sorry, 2 days. I started feeling kind of gross on like the day prior, so that's why I was like, but anyways, I digress. I had a fever. I was purging that which no longer served me, shall we say. And I also, at the same time that I am filming these videos, I'm opening my business, I am also planning my wedding, and we are literally only a couple months away. So a lot of things were all converging. Now, I know, like, for myself personally, and like a lot of my friends around the full moon in Leo, we were all just kind of like pent up, either angry at our partners or just like things were just happening and all of us were like, so there was a lot of this like collective energy. Again, I was super out of it because I was sick. I tried going back to work and I was just feeling really down. I was like really just in my head about a lot of stuff, and I like was really worried about how we were going to finish getting everything ready for the wedding. So cut to the full moon, right, in Leo. And I had the kind of patron ritual the prior evening. So Sunday night, I kind of just wanted to have some time for myself. I was here at the shop, and it was after hours, and I have our community altar, like behind you guys in front of me, I guess. And I had it all set up, not only for the full moon, but also for Imbolc, because I still had everything for that, right? So on the full moon, I celebrated Imbolc for myself. I had this really beautiful ceremony. It was really nice. It's been I'll admit, like, it's been a very long time since I have truly done like magic or spell work specifically for myself and myself alone. So you know, something that I'm working on with my therapist, who is also a witch, it turns out, is giving myself that space to experience stillness, and I'm really glad I did. So anyway, Sunday, I'm still not feeling 100%. Like, I was still just like weak and like tired, but not like contagious or anything. And I really just sat there, and I, for the first time in my life, guys, I asked my ancestors for help. And when I tell you, they delivered. Oh my gosh. So So I remember sitting there, you know, I had a little playlist going, I had some candles going, I used some incense, and I really just sat and I visualized myself just like connecting with the source, I guess, like the universe. And in general, it's really hard for me to ask for help like from a regular person. So for me to ask for spiritual guidance or spiritual help from my ancestors was like an even bigger deal. Another reason it's such a big deal is because like my family and I don't really get along like on this plane. So I've always been really hesitant about reaching out, especially to like my Puerto Rican family members, because I'm just like, I don't know if like I count, you know what I mean? So it was just kind of like this whole thing. My whole perspective has been changed, and here's why. So I, you know, again, I was really stressed about the wedding, just making sure that we were going to have like funds for everything that you know, it's the only wedding I'm gonna have. I'm trying, you know, and also like we're paying for everything ourselves, right? So it's really hard. People warned me about wedding planning like at the beginning, and I should have listened. But anyways, I digress. So I had asked my ancestors for help. I went back to my apartment and I kind of just like wasn't feeling like everything was finished. So I again went and like lit all of my deity candles that I had just finished making. And at that point, I just remember like releasing this sob, like this internal, like primal kind of like, I've never cried that hard in my whole life, like full body racking sobs, just because like I had gotten to the end of my rope. I was really, really stressed about this. How am I going to keep my business going? I'm so tired. I work 6 days a week, and then I have to do this for the wedding planning, and there's all this, everyone's asking me questions about all of this stuff. Like it was just, I was so overwhelmed. And I had called for the first time in a really long time, really truly just called on all of my deities at once to like aid me, because I had nothing else. Like I was like, I don't know what else to do. I need help. You know how hard this is for me to come to you, but like, please, I'm asking you. So I felt very much comforted after I sat with my deities and just kind of sat in my sacred space and just watched the candles and stuff. So I felt good after that. Cried it all out. I woke up the next morning. It looked like I got punched in the face. It was a whole thing. But cut to about 3 days later, right? So for the first couple days, I'm still like, all right, like gonna get back into the grind. We're gonna buckle down. We're gonna just like work our asses off, and we're gonna make this thing happen, right? And Wednesday, it is end of the day for me at work, and I'm just cleaning up, I'm mopping the floor and stuff. I'm like super stoked to go home and like eat a grilled cheese. And my fiance comes running into work, and like there are still people here, and he's very shy, so I knew that something was either terribly wrong or like is actually good. So he comes bursting into my shop, and he's like, babe, I have the best news ever. So we like walked outside, and he, no context, nothing, right? His hands had a letter with a check for the exact amount of money that we are going to need to like finish paying for all of like the last little like wedding things that we want, like not necessarily that we need, but that would just like make our wedding beautiful. And in that moment, I kind of like received this, I hesitate to say that I'm claircognizant, though I do have like episodes of that. It's just not something that is a major focus in my life. In that moment, like when I had that check in my hands and literally all of my problems were solved, not only did I feel a little bit silly, but instinctively I knew that that was a wedding present from my great-grandfather. And like, I don't know how I knew that. I just like could feel it in every part of my body. And I also knew that this was kind of like my ancestors' way, and like my deity's way, and my spiritual team, shall we say, though I know that this is from my great-grandfather. I don't know how to explain how I know that, I just do. Yeah, based on a technicality and a business going bankrupt, I'm about to have the wedding of my dreams. Thank you, Grandpa Don. But at the same time, this has rekindled a lot of my faith in aspects of my practice. It has really strengthened my devotion. Not that I wasn't devoted before, but I feel like this was a really pivotal moment in my practice, very similar to when I've had interactions or very strong interactions with deities. Like it was just really weird. It just, everything kind of lined up together. And I have been given such a beautiful gift that I am now even more motivated to further and deepen my spiritual practice, but also to pay it forward. So yeah, now that I kind of like don't have to worry about, XYZ thing anymore, I have so much more freedom just to focus on this. And I really feel like this was kind of my guide saying like, hey, your shop, your spiritual journey and stuff, you're on the right path. Just go out and do what you do, and don't worry about the rest. Oh, that's another thing. I was texting in my group chat with my mom, my grandmother, and my future mother-in-law, who is an angel, and I love her so much. Oh my gosh. But they, like, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed about this, like totally had a bridezilla moment, not even gonna lie. But I was like, no one's gonna even come to the wedding. We should have eloped, like all of that good stuff that apparently all brides think of. I don't know. But literally, my mother-in-law, my grandmother were like, honey, I just need you to hang on. It's gonna, like, it'll work itself out. Don't worry about it. Everything always works out in the end. And I know that they couldn't have known about, like this mystical amount of money that suddenly just fell into my lap. But it was just like a very surreal moment where I had two kind of like maternal figures just being very comforting and just being like, hey, it's gonna be fine. And then within like no less than an hour and a half, like I literally had to go back with my tail between my legs a little bit and be like, remember how you said everything was gonna work out? Well, so it was just like a really beautiful moment. And again, like this, for me, I kind of feel like I stepped into a new phase of my practice. I'm going to be focusing a lot more on ancestor work, I think. I actually made like rice, like Puerto Rican rice and beans and fried plantains. So that's like arroz con habichuela and tostones. And oh my gosh, that's like my favorite meal ever. I haven't eaten it in a really long time because like bad associations with people, but I made it for the first time in a really long time and I offered it to my ancestors and I just am like so grateful for them. Like it's really, really crazy. But anyways, I feel like there's a lot more details to that story that I might be forgetting, but there were just so many things that happened within, like, surrounding the full moon and those events. Oh, like, for example, I literally ran into two of my, like, coven sisters at the shop, like, randomly. One was getting a piercing, one was getting a tattoo, and I was walking into work, and we were all just like, it was like the Spider-Man meme. We were like, I didn't know you were gonna be here today. That's weird. So just like a lot of, like, those weird synchronicities have been happening over and over ever since the full moon for me, and I've been just like white knuckling it a little bit. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Like, I know I've been a little bit quiet on here. I appreciate your guys' patience with me because I know I'm trying to be more present. It's just a lot trying to like balance everything and also keep my footing. So I appreciate your patience, but I always want to be like real and try to like, you know, keep you guys in the loop on what's going on with my spiritual life. So thank you for listening to me rant at you. Sorry if it was a little bit stressful, but I will see you in the next one. Bye.